Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products. I've been able to watch you and in your program, but I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing that you feel like makes ELAC different, your program different?
Well, I try to lead with faith and obedience, man. And I think that's where it starts with me. If I'm not walking through the door obedient and faithful and intentional about, number one, being, doing my best and, making sure I care for them and, having relationships with them, understand what's going on in their lives. I think that's the most important thing is just, being intentional, man. And I think when it starts there and being obedient, with what God's purpose is for this team or for this program is, then that's where it starts. And if it starts up top with my obedience and serving, then it just trickles down through my assistant coaches, trickles down through the players, and they sense that and they gravitate towards it. And then it's easier for me to get them to respond to what I want them to do.
I think a lot of coaches struggle with being consistent. Well, if I'm feeling good or we just won, hey, I'm smiling and having a great time, or if we just lost and I'm down. And as a player, I mean, I know you and I both played, and it's getting farther and farther back, so it's harder to remember really what it felt like. But it was difficult to go into a practice not knowing what coach is showing up, like who's he going to be today. But again, getting to watch your program in such a different way for 2 years now, 2 seasons, I've just been impressed with how consistent you are with your attitude, your effort, your fire. It's not like, some days you're mellow, some days you're just always up. What does it take? How do you get to that point where, from an outsider's view, if you have a bad day, you do a really good job of not showing it in front of your players?
Yeah, and as leaders, man, we know, and as a leader, even as a leader, as a husband, as a teacher, instructor, man, sometimes there's feelings, there's emotions, but just realizing me as a leader, I can't let them down because I know and we take that on, and that's a part of what wears you out. Part of what wears you out is building up this energy and this enthusiasm, even when I'm having a down day, even when I got some bad news. Or, I remember I had the car accident and nobody even knew. I come the next day and go to practice and nobody even knew. Because I don't want what's going on in my life. And I share this with my guys all the time. I said, don't let your problem become our problem. I said, I know it can be catastrophic. I know it could be a death. I know all of that. But if you're letting your problem be our problem, then you bring us all down. We got to learn how to compartmentalize some of those problems so that we don't bring the group down. And some of the things that we go through are catastrophic. And I can step aside and say, we're going to help you here and there. But don't grab all of your problems and throw them into the gym. You can't throw them into the gym. And you think about it, 5 guys walk into the gym every day with an issue. And maybe 3 of them are able to compartmentalize and say, you know what, I'm going to just get through the day. And the other 2's got attitudes. And I know, okay, what's wrong with you today? Like, I know you didn't eat. I know, well, I didn't eat today. And that's selfish, bro. You're not eating because you weren't responsible enough to bring the fact that you didn't eat. That's so selfish. And trying to make them understand that that's the way I think. And like, I can't come in with no energy because I didn't eat because I was in a meeting. Okay, fine. I still got to come with energy, although I'm tired. I could be sick. The guys never knew when I was sick this year, They didn't know. Man, I said, okay, whatever I got to do. I got ibuprofen. I got this. Let me clear my sinuses so that I'm ready to go. And I try my best to not make any of my issues their issues so that they don't use as an excuse for not, why they're not performing. And so I try to relay the same message on those guys. And they look at me like, man, this dude is relentless. And what they really don't know is I'm not. I
Yeah.
just I just continue to do it. And, of course, our strength comes from, my source is from the Lord. And I literally go every single day. I walk in the gym, practice starts, let's say it starts at 2 o'clock. I'm in there a couple minutes before. I'm watching to see who's in there, see who's late. And I may have sweats on like this. And then as I see, and I say, okay, 4 lines, which means everybody gets in lines and we start stretching. We start doing a dynamic stretch. Once they start doing a dynamic stretch, it takes between 8 and 10 minutes, right? As they're stretching, I walk out, I go to the locker room, I change clothes, I put on my shorts, tie up my gym shoes that I'm gonna run around in and the shirt, and I pray. And I ask God for strength. And literally when I'm in there, and I hope none of my players see this, I'm like this.
Mm.
Lord, I need strength. I'm tired. I just can't. I don't feel like doing it today. I just don't. And then literally, I walk out, and then as soon as I hit the door, I'm walking in the gym, and you got to have this energy. And then the players look, and they're like, "Oh shoot," because they're feeling. I feel like they feel.
Yeah.
We feel the same way. We feel the same way because I look at them walk in the gym, and some of them, and then some days, they look fresh and
Well,
whatever.
they're having a good day. Yeah. Yeah.
They're having a good day, and you can see half and half. But I notice, and I walk in there, and I look at 4 or 5 of them that look like they're gonna have a bad day, and I feel the same way, bro. But I can't let you know that it's gonna be that way.
Yeah.
And now it's literally like putting on the front, and it's really all the guys. Like, there's some guys that don't feel like doing it, but they do it, and they fight to get it right and fight to go hard every single day. And that's the character that it takes to be successful. Like some days you're not going to feel like doing it and you do it. And those are the habits that we're trying to build. It's like, man, if you don't feel like doing it, I know you don't. There's no way you feel like coming in here 6 days a week and listening to me. But if you can develop the habit to jump on it and say, I'm going to fight through it every single day and do it without any fight back, then you're going to be successful. There's no way you won't be because that's life.
Yeah.
That's life. Things you're not going to want to deal with. And if you can fight and grit your teeth and say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to have the right response to not feeling like doing it or whatever, then that's where success happens for us. And we know that that's the thing that we have to do, the habits we have to have. And that's what I'm trying to pour into these young men when we talk about life skills.
Yeah. The idea of we actually have a choice over how we act, how we feel is not real. That idea of I mean, obviously there are some situations that are even beyond just, hey, be tougher, get past it. But I love that idea of we all are going through some things, but we have to make the choice not to bring it into, like you said, into the team, into the five. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.